So for this one, it says for what input value or values is g of x equal to 4? So what is the question asking for? Just tell me what individual thing it's asking for. Don't reread the question to me, just read the question yourself. What is this question asking me for? The input. It does give me something in function notation. It gives me this. Clearly, they're not giving me the input. So even if it didn't say what's the input for this, you should know that they're looking for the input, because what did they give you? The output. All right, remember, everything takes you back to this for function notation. All right, input, output, the F or whatever letter is out here is just the name of the function. So like in this example, it's function G. That's why there's a G out here. We're solving for the input. They clearly gave us the output because it's in the output box. So in other words, they gave me the Y. I'm looking for the X on this function G when the Y is 4. So find 4 on your Y-axis, right here. Where's my X values at for that on the line? So see where it crosses on the physical line here. So where the red line I'm drawing, that's where Y equals 4, right? I want the X's that touch on this function. So I have one here, and I have one here when Y is 4. So I should have how many answers? Just based off of this, I could see what my answer is because only one of them has the 2 answers. So, but doesn't it make sense that it's -2 and 2? No, it doesn't. All right, it does, because the 2 coordinates here go in the order of 2, 4, and -2, 4. It's asking for the input when the output is 4. Good there? All right, any others? And it could be from any of the practices, 1 through 6. So which others, if any? Yes. All right, so the cell phone plan from company C costs 10 per month plus 15 per gigabyte of data use. The plan from company D costs 80 per month with unlimited data. Rule C gives the monthly cost, so that's like saying function C, right? Rule C gives the monthly cost in dollars of using G gigabytes of data on company C's plan. Rule D, so function D, in other words, gives the monthly cost in dollars of using gigabytes of data on company D's plan. Complete the following sentence to describe the meaning of this statement. So since there's a C there, we're clearly talking about function C, right? Company C. Which would be the input? The gigabytes of data used or the cost? So like, what is the 2 representing? Nope. So then it must be the gigabytes of data used, which means the 40 must be the cost. Again, how you know goes back to the f of x equals y. X is your input, and it's also what is independent in like any word problem. So things like time is usually independent. Counting something is usually independent, which means that y is your output, and it depends on the x, so that's why it's dependent. The cost depends on how much you use, right? So that's why the cost is the output. It's not the other way around. So it costs $2 or $40. Which one? Based on what we just dissected over here. $40 to use 2 or 40 gigabytes of data. 2. And then which is less? So now this is a different part, but that's just evaluating what must be what. Does that make sense? Okay. So then which is less? C of 4 or D of 4? So figure out what that's trying to tell you to do. What is the 4 replacing? The X or whatever it says the input is. I think this would be written like for rule C, it would be C of G equals cost. I don't know what they're using for cost. For dollars. The other one would be, actually I do know what they're using for cost. For company C, it costs 10 per month plus 15 gigabytes of data use. So how would I write that as like an equation? Think back to when we did like that translating way back in like August, September in this class. So 10. It's per month, but this whole thing is just cost of 1 month, so I don't need to times it by anything. Plus means what symbol? Adding, good. Plus $15 per gigabyte of data use, which we are multiplying by each month. So per gigabyte of data used, doesn't that vary each month? Yes, no. So use a variable, use the one that we said would represent gigabytes of data. So here's for rule T. Rule D says that it costs 80 per month with unlimited data. So for rule D, it would be E of G equals what? If it's 80 per month with unlimited data. All right, if my output is cost in 1 month. And so far it's 80 per month plus unlimited data, what contributes to the cost? I'm gonna give you the answer. I need to make careful. So what is the cost for company B? It's not going. We're making the rule. 80, anything else needs to go over there? Or no? What do you think needs to go over there? So it says rule D gives the monthly cost, or here actually it says the plan from company B costs 80 per month with unlimited data. Do I need to add anything else? Why do you think we need to add a variable? Tell me why. Nobody else seems to know, so. For the data, but they have unlimited data. So are they charging anything for data like company C is? Yes, no. Is this rule complete? Do I need to add anything else to this rule after reading it again? Company B costs 80 per month with unlimited data. Is like how we did in the notes yesterday. We had one company that charged 60 no matter what, no matter how much they went over. The other company charged more depending on how much data you use. Does company D do that? Do they charge more for however much data they use? So do I need a variable over here in any form? No, because they just charge 80 for them. So I'm trying to. So here's for company D, and here's for company C. Trying to get you guys to stop like just guessing to like actually understand this. All right, so then that brings us back to this part of the question. It says, which is less, B of 4 or D of 4? Again, what's the 4 replacing? The input. Normally it's X, and this one is G, so just wherever there is a G for both problems, replace it with a 4. So here's for company C. That's what it looks like. Put it directly into your calculator. Do I do anything to the left side at all? No, that's just function notation. On the right side, use your calculator, either know your order of operations or put it all in the calculator at once. Do I add or multiply first? Good, so 15 times 4. Sorry, is 60 plus 10 is what? 70. So now figure it out for company D. Anywhere that there's a G, replace it with a 4. So these are my two top. So do I need to do any simplifying for company D? Right? No, why not? So there's no G on the other side. They just charge 80 no matter what. So which is cheaper? C of 4 or D of 4? C of 4. Right? Going. Which is less? B of 5 or D of 5? So now what does it want us to do? Replace the G with a 5. So now do the same thing. Except now, and you could rewrite it. I'll rewrite it that way if you're thinking of that. But C of 5 equals 10 plus 15 times 5. So that's the rule for company C. Compare that to company D, which what does it cost for 5 gigabytes at company D? Costs $80. So that's the rule. No matter how much data they use, it's $80. They have unlimited data. So that I need to put in the calculator. 15 times 5 is what? Are you guessing or? Okay. 15 times 5, we will apply first. 75, and then plus 10 is. All right. So that's what company C is. Now which one is less? C or D? D. So D of 5 is less. For what number G is CG equals 30? I think they forgot some parentheses there. I'll go back and edit that so that it has. It should say C of G equals 130. So in that one, what are they giving you? The output. They're giving us the Y. So I'm solving for the input in that one. So look at company C's rule that we had to make. Since that is what C of G equals, guess what we're going to replace with the 130. The C of G. All right, it'll look something like this. 130 equals 10 plus 15G, right? Because they equal each other. So you make them equal to each other and solve for G. How do I isolate the G? Do I get rid of the 10 first or the 15? And how do I get rid of it? Whatever you do on one side. And 130 minus 10 is equal to opposite of multiplying by 15 is that. I do need my calculator for, so 120, if it'll even let me type on here, I think I wrote too much. 120 divided by 15 is 8. So it's 8. All right, questions on this one? This one would honestly be a really great test question. Because it's making you use so many different skills, so many different like translating skills, function notation skills, and then solving your functions. Questions on this one? All right, we might have time for one more. So which other one, if any? On this practice? Okay. So then W gives the weight of a puppy in pounds as a function of its age T in months. Complete each sentence to describe the meaning of the given statement in function notation. So W is the name of the function. We have something that was either time or weight. The input is independent, right? So what's independent, time or weight? Time. Time is almost always the independent one. So that one would have to be time, and we're talking about in months in this one. So that means the 5 must be the weight. The weight would depend on how much time has passed when we're talking about a puppy. So at blank months, 2 or 5. 2, the puppy weighed 5 pounds. Now, what must it mean when it's this? What do we say is in the parentheses? Time or weight? Time. So that means the 6 is talking about 6 what? Months, because that's what the time frame is. So then the 4 is for what? Months, because that's also in the parentheses, right? So look at what it's saying. The output is when it's put together, right? So like W of 2, W of 6 is the weight at 6 months. So what is this saying? The puppy weighed more when it was 4 or 6 months old than when it was 6. And that makes logical sense, right? Okay, so then what must this one mean? The puppy's weight was blank at 12 months and 15 months of age. The same, because equal means the same. The other option was different, which could be greater than, less than, but not equal. Questions? All right, we even might have time for one more. Anyone else? 4. So function P gives the perimeter, and this one's a good one. Might have looked just like something on the quiz each other, right? That's how you have these done ahead of time, so you can have questions ahead of time. But give the perimeter of an equilateral triangle of side length S, and it's represented by the equation. What do we know about equilateral triangles? Equilateral triangles, what's special about them? They have all equal sides. So that means that if this is side length S, then my perimeter, which how do you measure perimeter of anything? Add up all the sides, right? So then my perimeter is S plus S plus S, which is how they got 3S. Make sense? So that's how you can make it if it ever has to make it. And this one they gave it to you. So what does P of S equals 60 mean? So the perimeter of an equilateral triangle of side length S is 20 or 60? Sure. I feel like it's 60. Because what depends on what? The input is my side length, right? That's what it says, S represents. The output is my perimeter. So if it's P of S equals 60, 60 must be the perimeter, not the side length. And since they're all equal, what's a side length equal to? 20. All right, so good job, like the last half of class, I gotta admit, it took a lot of redirection to get started. But we're gonna try incorporating more chances like this, so make sure you take them seriously when they do come. Ashley.